Morning everyone, welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our game against Watford, and we'll start off with Vinny O'Connor from Sky, please.
Frank, we've actually just been talking about the fans on Sunday, and I don't think everyone realised that they weren't being kept behind, that they were just there staying behind and singing, and they're probably going to give you a send-off here today as well. I just wonder, when you're seeing those kind of scenes, what difference do you feel it making in yourself? What difference do you see in your players as well?
Well, the support that we've had since I've been here has been incredible. It's ramped up in the last few weeks, and we needed that. We needed that, and I think the fans have shown their support and passion and willingness to take part. You know, because now they're taking part, not on the pitch. That's another thing. But I think the idea that it's been a real joined-up effort from top of the club, from owner, from chairman, from Denise, from staff, from players, from fans, all together in a very unified way is a big plus. So we're very thankful. At the same time, we have to win football matches on the pitch, and that's what the players have been doing in the last weeks for a while now. Been some really good performances, and it's given ourselves a good chance.
It's probably wrong to single one player up because there have been so many good performances, but just looking at Jordan Pickford's form, what does it take, particularly for a goalkeeper, to deliver those kind of performances when so much is at stake, really? Yeah,
it says a lot for Jordan. He deserves the focus to be on him in that sense, because he trains brilliantly every day, he acts brilliantly, he's a joy to manage, and he has that talent, so he's making big saves. But I think it is wrong to just look at Jordan Pickford, because there are a lot of players now that are standing up and performing at levels since I've been here in recent weeks under high pressure. You know, I could start naming them through the team, the Alex Iwobis and the Anthony Gordons and the Seamus Coleman, who things he does on and off the pitch are always extraordinary, and others. So I think it's important collectively, as much as when we're not in great form, everyone gets it, and maybe when we're doing okay, people should get the credit. But, you know, credit's a great thing. For us, we have to say, okay, good, but next game, Watford's the most important thing.
I'll add another one to that list, Fabian Delph. I just wonder what decision he's given you as well.
The process of naming, you leave people out. It's like a bad speech where you have to go through the whole room. But I think, Delphi has shown in his return to the team, return to fitness, that you can't underestimate experience and quality and football brain and the calmness that he brings on the pitch and effort, everything. So he's been a great for us, and you know, we've had big injuries this year. That does affect things, no matter what you say, because you want to rely on big players, and that's what Delphi is.
What decision is Fabian giving you in terms of wanting him to stick around next season?
He knows how I feel about him. It's a decision that is one between, firstly, him. I think his decision of what he wants. Secondly, me. And thirdly, the club and how that comes together. And now's not the time for that one.
How are you looking in terms of the squad? Obviously, Yerry, Mina, we know about the injury that he picked up at the weekend. Mykolenko as well. How are they? Are they likely to be fit?
Miko's good. Mykolenko cramp in the calves, so he'll be good. Yerry's not. He's got a small injury in his calf, so he won't be playing this game.
Good thing was, though, Michael Keane showed his best levels when he came on against Leicester.
Michael Keane was great. The team were really good, but Michael's it's never easy coming to game in pressure in 20 minutes in. Keane's an absolute brilliant professional, so I've no doubts he's always ready to go when called upon.
Any updates on Donny van der Beek and Ben Godfrey as well?
Donny's not ready. We're hoping that he'll be ready for next week's games, potentially the weekend. And with Ben, similar. Ben's working with every ounce of sweat or bone in his body to be fit and take part in the running, and that's the sort of attitude we need.
A couple of final things, Frank. Just how do you reinforce the message now, as enjoyable as the win over Leicester was? There's still work to be done now, despite the fact that it's put you in a really good position.
It's the only message for us, is that as much as we enjoyed the weekend, it was a game that got us out of a relegation zone with games to go. It's very dangerous now to relax on that. And so as much as we can talk about the fans and the great atmosphere, us as players and staff, the only message is that we have to go and now finish the job, which is a tough job. We have to expect the worst everywhere else. Everyone else can win, but we can control ourselves. So there's absolutely no way we can relax. That's the biggest message.
With Watford already relegated, the fact that they don't have that pressure anymore, how dangerous does that make them?
It can work both ways, can't it? I think pressure is a funny thing. It affects you to, when you're under it in a negative way, to react in good or bad way. The same when you relieve that pressure. So we'll find that out. But again, focusing on ourselves is the important thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to James Cooper at Premier
Hi,
League
Frank.
Productions.
It's a quick turnaround, but I guess you'd welcome that after the performance of the weekend.
Yeah, there are things to manage for us practically at the training ground in terms of recovery and maintenance, and some players that have little issues, which this happens at this stage of the season. But in terms of feeling and confidence, it's good that we can go again pretty quickly.
I mean, Vinny used the word danger. I mean, it's a dangerous fixture simply because Chelsea and Leicester, you'd expect a performance perhaps from your players. He's talked about relegation. You know, this is more dangerous than maybe it looks on paper.
They're all dangerous. You know, I think, as I say, to underestimate it because Watford are relegated would be our biggest danger for us personally. But every game in the Premier League, for whatever reason, is dangerous, especially when you travel away from home. We've found that out for a while, and we changed that the other day. But the minute we think you cracked it, you haven't. So they're all dangerous.
But how big is changing the mindset about playing away from home and getting wins away from home? That's a big step forward, isn't it?
It's a step forward, but again, I have to do a lot of talking, but the acting is the only thing. So getting one result doesn't mean you go and then get more. So it just means that you have to understand why we got a result. The team were together in every moment. They fought. We had good chances because we were very quick to attack at times. We defended very tight, and individuals played good games. That's what gets you results away from home in the league, and consistently to do that is the big challenge.
And there's a lot of talk about attributes that you need. People's got momentum, belief, faith, all those sort of things. But is togetherness more powerful than people kind of imagine? Because you've talked about it since you come into the room.
Yeah, and
togetherness.
Well, from my experience of football for a long time, you only win or have relative success with togetherness, and that's from players, it's from staff, it's from owners and balls and fans and everybody. It's the levels we're playing at. It's nigh impossible to be successful without that. You have to be together in as much as you can be and drive that. And I think it's been probably one of the biggest challenges for me coming in for a team and a club that's low on confidence mid-season. Is how do you rebuild certain parts of that to bring that. And at the moment, people are reacting in a good way, but again, we have to continue for another 4 games.
Without giving any secrets away, how did you rebuild that?
But
sorry, it's probably a long
it's a big one, and there have been a lot of steps to it. Maybe you can ask me at the end of the season, hopefully all being well and we get the right result we want.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. Alistair at the BBC.
Hi Frank. Just first of all, you mentioned Mina there. Do you expect him to be back for the following game? So if he's out of this one,
Yeah, probably not. We're probably looking now towards the last game that Yerry could be in contention for.
okay. And just admin-wise, have you heard anything more from the FA on their charge at all?
No.
Okay, or anything on Richarlison and the
No.
Okay, fine. You said when you came in and you talked about the rebuilding confidence there that you believed in this group that you could stay up. Do you think there's been a turning point for the players where they believed it, that they believe that they can stay up as well?
I'm not sure. That's one for the players, and probably one for reflection at the end of the season, because we haven't yet, and that's very important to be clear. So it doesn't matter what we think or too much now or where we're at. It's what matters is that we just keep doing the things that have helped us to perform in this recent batch of games. And you know, when I first come in, there was a nice bounce, and we found a few difficulties in certain games. We've always had the bounce at Goodison. We've always, since I've been here, performed well at Goodison and generally got the right results. But away from home has been the problem. But I think now it's there's certainly a feeling within the group from the last 2 results, 2 wins back to back was a big thing for us to break, because we've seen with Burnley how a run of wins changes the face of it very quickly, and that was important for us. And all the players need to do is continue with the mindset we've got at this moment, the togetherness of everyone who's starting, the subs, the people that come on, the people that are training every day to keep the same mentality that we have.
I'm sure there's the desire to just win a game is enough in itself, but is there a desire amongst the players to win a 3rd successive game, which I think would be the first time this season as well?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, all this togetherness talk and this passion talk or whatever belief they're all important, but what comes to and getting results is also going out on the pitch and being disciplined in the idea of how you want to play. We've had 2 really big opponents in Chelsea and Leicester. They have a lot of possession. Whether that looks the same tomorrow night, who knows? It could look different. And so the players have to have an understanding of that and implement that. So as much as we talk about those things around us and how we are, when they get on the pitch tomorrow night, we have to approach the game absolutely in the right way, and that's what we've been doing. We have to keep doing that.
I know, and just last of all, I know you obviously stated the fact that nothing's done yet. You're still close to, it's a dangerous position you're still in, but last couple of games getting 2 back-to-back wins. Has the kind of mood lifted in the camp a little bit? Because obviously being in the relegation zone, it's very serious. Maybe even your mood.
My mood's definitely lifted. My mood's lifted.
So I just wondered if you could explain a little bit more about how the mood's lifted.
I think what football does to you is it lifts you, and it should do. As much as tough results are difficult, we're all human. When you get a good one, they're good, and you should enjoy it. Like I said after Leicester, but the important thing is to stay balanced because there's a bigger picture. So yeah, the mood's lifted. That's good. Tap into the good side of that, and then guard against the fact that can bring an overconfidence or it's a fine balance in sport to continue. That's why we laud Manchester City and Liverpool for consistency, incredible consistency, week in, week out. And where we're at now, in our small patch we're in now, it's important that we have a good mood. That's good, but understand that there's work to do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alistair. We'll go to Carl at the Press Association, please.
Hi, Frank. You've spoken about certain players stepping up at the right moments. I'm just wondering how much you've noticed that being driven by the dressing room in terms of maybe what they've done. Have you seen much of what they've done to change it? And was there a moment where you saw them and thought, yeah, they've got it? 'Cause I know you spoke about prodding one or two players and saying some home truths about where they are. What have they done? And was there a moment when you thought, yes, they've got it? They know what they're up against now?
Yeah, I think as a manager, there are a lot of things you can do, but to an extent, there are also so much that you can do in terms of the dressing room, in terms of they have to take ownership of that. And one of the big pluses that I found out very quickly when I came here on day one was the moment I sat down with Seamus Coleman, I realised we've got one of the best captains you can imagine having in the dressing room. And he's the big reference point for the whole group of how he behaves, conducts himself, speaks, everything he does. And then we talk about some of the players that have come back in, Fabian Delph, Yerry, Mina. They all bring personality and experience of maybe different situations, and that can affect the dressing room. And then it just needs everybody to lift. So there's a lot of, I've kept saying it, and when you're not winning games, people question it. I said that these players are good lads. They want the best. They want the best forever, and they're proud to play for this club. But when you don't win, people look through that, and people will go, "I don't see that." But now I still say the same thing. We've got good players that want the right thing. I've seen that all along, and now they're getting some rewards for the attitude and how they're approaching it.
Thanks, Carl. We'll just go to Zoom and Chris Coughlin from Radio Merseyside.
Hi, Frank. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can.
Hi, Frank. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chris. You can't hear me.
Oh,
Chris, we can hear you.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry about that, Frank. Vitaly Mykolenko, he's been one of the star performers recently at both ends. What have you been doing to help him settle in?
I've been speaking to him on a pretty regular basis. He's learning the language. He's becoming notably more embedded in the dressing room. I've had quite a few one-on-ones with him, specifically in trying to make him understand why we brought him to the club. It was before me, but I know the process to get him, and I know for instance, watching clips of him play before he came here, and the level he's playing in Champions League games, playing against big opponents and playing well. I just want him to believe that he deserves to be here as a Premier League player, as an Everton player, and he's got so much to offer us. And he's taken that on board. He's playing really well, as you say, on both ends of the pitch. And he looks really comfortable. And long may that continue. He's got a great attitude. He's very nice to manage. He turns up every day, does everything you want from him, and performances are good. And I expect more from him now to come.
And his first goal for the club was a brilliant one at Leicester as well. Is the fact that he even took the shot on a sign of the shift in confidence, not just for himself, but for the team in general?
Well, certainly for himself, yeah. And we've said after the game we've been due a goal or so like that, because they change games, something out of the blue that's a moment that reflects on the quality of the individuals in the team. And so it was great to see that go in for him on an individual level, the reaction of the players. And with dressing rooms, you know that other players then just respect you when they see you do things like that. It's natural in a dressing room. So really happy for him, and he just needs to keep going in the same direction.
And if I could just ask on Watford as well, after the Crystal Palace game, Ben Foster said, we've got too many players who are happy to put it in for an hour and then probably fall away. When you see the frustration being voiced by the opposition, is that something that you can use to your advantage?
I saw the quotes, and Ben will say it as he sees it about a few things, and fair play to him. If he's speaking like that, it's their situation, it's their in-house situation. I don't think it really matters to us too much. Things like that can get good or bad reactions. We have to just focus on what we can do to go there and give our best and play the way we've been playing in recent games. And hopefully that'll be enough. It's not really to comment too much on where they're exactly at the moment.
And just lastly from me, Frank, I know you spoke about the shift in mentality and feeling good after back-to-back wins, but even though it's always been in your hands, is the fact that it's in your hands and you're outside the relegation zone, what kind of an impact does that have?
Well, I think it's a small impact mentally for the players. There's no denying that. I think we felt the impact of it before Chelsea to go into the zone, and we feel now the impact of coming out of it. But it's just a small mental impact. The bigger impact is what we do about it and how we perform in the game coming up. It is in our hands, you're right, and that's the big thing now, is the actions as opposed to those small feelings. But yeah, it was a nice booster at the weekend.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Unless anyone else has a question for the open section, if you can raise your hand now, otherwise we'll move on to the newspapers.